It's time for us to add a second level to our game, but before we can do that, we really need a way to get to our second level. So let's start there. We're going to begin by going to our art and tiles folder, and let's look for a flag or something that we can use to bounce up to the next level. In fact, I think, is it perhaps in items? There we go. In items, we have some flag options. I'm going to take flag blue 1 and just drag it right out here into our scene view. I'm going to set the position to 6 and negative 3.5 so that it's perfectly grounded. That looks good. And then we're going to add a collider. We'll add a polygon collider 2D, not a polygon effector 2D. Jason, remove that. We'll add a polygon collider 2D. And then we're going to add in a script that will allow us to load up a level. Let's call this a load level script. To do that, we'll go into our assets folder. We'll go to the scripts folder and we'll hit create and choose C# script. I'm going to call this script load level. No spaces, but 2 capital L's, not 3, just 2. Capital L for load and capital L for level. LOADLEVEL. Hit enter. That should generate my script, and it does not open it up the first time. Like I said, a lot of the time it just opens up whatever you had last. So I'll go back into Unity. Once it finishes recompiling, I'll double click the load level script again. There we go. And in here, all I want to do is check to see if the player has entered this object or touched this object. And if so, load up the next level or load up a specific level that I've maybe laid out by name. So I'm going to take all of the code from line 7 to 17, select it, and delete it because we don't need a start method and we don't need an update method. And instead, we're going to add an on collision enter 2D. There, where's that at? On collision enter 2D. Now, when we get our collision, we want to check to make sure that it's a player that touched this. So we'll say if collision dot collider. Now, do you remember the way to check a player? If so, go ahead and type that out right now. If not, hold on just a second. That's right. We're going to do compare tag, and we're going to put in parentheses and quotes player. So if we hit a player, then we want to call our load scene method. And if you remember from the way that we kill players, that's in our scene manager. We say scene manager with a capital S and a capital M dot load scene. And here we're not going to give it a 0 or a number. Instead, we're going to give it a name. Let's say underscore level name. I'll put a semicolon at the end, go over to level name, hit Alt Enter, and generate a field for it. Now, we need to do 2 things. First, delete this extra private keyword because I don't want to have it there. Not because we need to, but just because it's extra. And then go to this private keyword up here and replace it with the serialize field attribute. Now I'm going to save, Control-Shift-B to do a build, and then we'll go into Unity. The build is just to force it to save as well. Control-Shift-B, and then it pops up. If I typoed something, it gives me real quick feedback. But we're back into Unity. Let's go find our load level script and attach it to this flag. I'm going to minimize the sprite renderer, minimize the polygon collider, drag the load level script over here, and let's put in the level name level 2. I will save my scene, press play, run over, and expect to get a nice big error in my console. Let's see if that's the case. So we play, we run over, we touch this flag, and you can't see it. It's just off screen, but if I drag it up, there's the error. And if I go into the console, you see that it says level 2 could not be loaded because it has not been added to the build settings or the asset bundle has not been loaded. So it says we need to go add it to build settings. So I'm going to stop playing, go to file, go to build settings, and go, oh, I don't have a level 2. So I need to make a level 2. Next, I'll go into my scenes folder so I can see where I've got my level 1 and think like, okay, I need a level 2. Let's, how am I going to make a level 2? Let's start by just doing this. File, save as, go into my scenes folder, put in the word level space 2, because that's the way that I typed it in my load level method, or in my load level component. And then let's add the load level 2 script. So, or the load level 2 scene. And now I can do that by hitting add open scenes because I now have that scene open, or I can drag it from here and drop it right onto my scenes to build. Now I need to go to file and save project to make sure that my build settings gets saved, and go into plastic SCM and I'll see that my editor build settings asset is updated. I can close this window now, press play, and when I run up to that flag, what's actually going to happen is it's going to just load me into level 2 when I'm already in level 2. Let's see. So I run up and bam, it reloads level 2 and it reloads level 2. So let's change this up just a little bit. In level 2, so I've got level 2 open. I'm going to select the flag. I'm going to go to my project view and I'm going to expand out the sprite renderer. I'm going to change this from flag blue to flag green one. I'm going to drag that right up there. And then I'm going to change the level name from level 2 to level 1. I'll save. So now in level 2, I have a green flag that takes me to level 1. In level 1, I have a blue flag that takes me to level 2. Let's press play and see if I can go between the two levels. All right, we've got level 2 and we're in level 1. You can see it up there in the hierarchy. And I can go between my two levels. Right now, they're very similar. They're exactly the same except for the flags. But I've now got a very simple way to bounce back and forth, and I can start adding some things to level 2 and thinking through my scene management setup. Let's stop playing. Make sure that everything is saved. Go into Plastic SCM so that we added level 2 and flags to get between levels. And we'll check that in.